Greetings, ponies and pickers, this is the Watchful Pony here, and welcome back to Watchful's Watch. And for today's episode, we're finally getting Rainbow Dash's parents. This is honestly a day I never thought I'd see coming, though at the same time it's kind of expected, considering we've seen almost all the other parents of the main six so far. Plus, it's also a Scootaloo episode. Good to see he's getting more love. But with all these factors coming into play, can this episode live up to all that hype? Well, let's find out. This is Parental Glidence. Wait, I thought it was Guidance. Oh my god, they hit a pun in the title this whole time and I'm only just now noticing it? Jesus!
You're strong, you can fly, you can reach the other side of the rainbow.
Our episode begins with Scootaloo getting ready to fly up to Cloudsdale using a giant slingshot. Oh, that's right, he can't fly. I kind of almost forgot about that, honestly. Sorry, it's just we've seen this topic of her flight inability brought up so little, I kind of forgot. But in any case, he makes it up to Cloudsdale and finds who else but Rainbow Dash's parents. And then she immediately starts squealing like the little fangirl that she is. You know, despite how ear-piercing her squealing is, it's actually just cute and endearing enough that it's not annoying. It's also cool to see Pegasus use their appendages for other things besides just flying, like for earplugs, for example. It's one of the few things I miss about being a Pegasus. Doesn't mean I regret turning into a unicorn. Unicorn master race, bitch. But anyway, Scootaloo finally calms down and we find out why she went to Cloudsdale in the first place. She plans to do a school report on Rainbow Dash. And then we find out that Rainbow Dash's parents are just as big of fans of her as Scootaloo. Hell, maybe even more so. You know, I rather like that twist. You'd honestly expect her parents to be sick of Rainbow Dash with how much she boasts. But no, they're actually super obsessed with her and can't get enough of her. Very nice and clever twist there. But Rainbow Dash actually didn't tell them about the fact that she joined the Wonderbolts, which of course means hilarious hijinks ensue. And this is when the episode really starts to get funny for me, honestly. It's not that the episode wasn't funny beforehand, but this is when it really starts to take off in the comedy. I was honestly really laughing hard throughout most of the episode, or at the very least on the second viewing, because yeah, admittedly upon the first viewing, I did not like this episode. Or at the very least at this point, I wasn't hating it up until this point upon my first viewing. And the reason why I wasn't liking it was because I honestly found this segment incredibly annoying. I found Rainbow Dash's parents to be very annoying and very grating very quickly. Seriously, if you were to ask me right up until this point what my thoughts on the episode were, I probably would have called this the first dud of the season. But when I rewatched it and gave it a second chance, I actually started laughing a lot more. Seriously, now I think this is easily one of the funniest parts of the episode. I don't know what it is, but if I had to guess, I think it's because I got over the initial cringe of having to deal with them. I cannot be alone here. Please tell me someone at the first time seeing this cringed a little bit at Rainbow Dash's parents. But in any case, yeah, this is now easily the funniest part of the episode. But finally, Rainbow Dash can't take it anymore and snaps. And he snaps hard. And from that, in the span of only a couple minutes, we get some of the most detailed and heart-wrenching facial expressions we've ever seen in the show. I didn't think it was possible to top putting your hoof down as far as gut-wrenching facial expressions, but you did it, episode. And guess what? This actually works for the episode's benefit. Take that, putting your hoof down. You guys heard that, right? It was probably nothing. But in any case, after Scootaloo snaps at Rainbow Dash tries to make things right. And she delivers a shocking revelation that she was not always the great flyer she was. I'm not shocked at all. I mean, come on, let's be honest, everyone was expecting that. What I wasn't expecting was that Derpy was apparently a great flyer. Look at that, she's right at the #1 spot. First Rarity and now Rainbow Dash, everyone is getting wrecked by Derpy and it's hilarious. One thing I am a tiny bit iffy on is apparently Spitfire and Lightning Dust were actually in the same class together. I don't know, I always liked that they were very talented ponies that just happened to come together. Not to mention it really doesn't explain how the hell Rainbow Dash didn't know who Lightning Dust was, despite the fact that they shared a class together. I suppose there could be an argument that she just didn't recognize Lightning Dust. I mean, after all, this was years ago. And I went through a similar experience where when I went to Six Flags, I saw some old classmates from my elementary school back in Chicago, and I didn't recognize them at all, but they recognized me, which I find pretty weird to be honest. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think that really holds water, because humans look vastly different from when they're young. Ponies really kinda don't. I mean, look at Lightning Dust, he's practically the same besides looking bigger. But then again, we do get to see Lightning Dust one more time, so touche, episode. Although as a side note, did anyone think that little scene where we see Rainbow Dash's journey summed up to be pretty weird? I don't know, it just feels a little out of place to be perfectly honest. But getting back to the episode, Scootaloo says that anyone would kill to have supportive parents like Rainbow Dash's. And when Rainbow Dash says the name one, Scootaloo names herself. You know, I like how ambiguous this is. It's ordered in such a perfect way that you could interpret it as Scootaloo not having parents at all, or maybe her parents just aren't very supportive. And I don't mean that in in a bad way, more that they just don't care about her interests. That they're overall the same, but her interests don't really interest them. I like that it's ambiguously worded like that. Good on you, episode. But in any case, Rainbow Dash realizes he took him for granted and needs to make it up to them. So one aerial show later, and her parents forgive her. And it looks like Scootaloo's arc as Rainbow Dash's sister develops even more, as now Rainbow Dash's parents are cheering on Scootaloo. Not only is that really sweet, but I do like how the Rainbow Dash Scootaloo sister arc is still being used. But in any case, that was Parental Glidence. Overall, after rewatching it, it's a really great episode. Had some good humor and a lot of heart. This does feel like an episode that you need to rewatch to fully appreciate it, honestly. Because like I said, the first time I really didn't like it, but the second time I warmed up to it, and the third time I thought it was great. No matter how much I watch it, I can't really get over the iffy moments like Lightning Dust and Rainbow Dash having a class together, or the out of nowhere recap of Rainbow Dash's arc. But otherwise, I still think it's a great episode, which is why I'm gonna give it a solid 5 out of 6. It's good to see more main 6 parents joining the guild. I'm the Watchful Pony, and this is why I Brony. I'll see you guys next time.